Yeah, yeah. We may be close to a solution. I'll let you know. For anyone that doesn't know, Erica's had some tech issues with some of her games, so our dev team is looking into it. We'll hopefully have a better
Also,
explanation
I
today.
sent over High Quality's game too. That 3D one he was working on, he's having an issue with that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, and that I also passed that along.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks for keeping me posted. So I mentioned in the Astro Academy channel that something I would like us all to start doing, and it'd be great to talk about this during this session as well, is thinking about our median playtime because most of us are looking to get a lot of plays. You want to have people playing your game, and it's always, by the way, totally fine to make a game where you don't care about that. You just want to do some crazy idea. You don't care how it performs. That's fine. But the harder challenge is usually making a game that scores really well with our audience. And so we're trying to make sure that's as possible for everybody as possible. Obviously, we want the best possible content. I just used the word possible like 50 times in a row. And I think part of the way to get there is to help you guys understand what does a median playtime tell you and what can you do to improve it if it's not where you'd like it to be. So first of all, I think I saw Plankton Fun, I think you said this in the chat. Who has published their game so far? And by their game, I mean your Astro Academy game, not necessarily a game you published 2 months ago or something. Okay, we got Erica, we've got Plankton Fun, we've got C-Spark. So first things first, does anybody feel like sharing their screen and showing us in your Creator Hub what your median playtime looks like? Don't be shy. This is where we learn. Erica is going to take a break from suddenly creating these crazy 3D combat games to show us the analytics. By the way, Erica, I was asking Toxic about this. What has happened to you lately? Your whole life was cake and fairies and pretty pastel colors, and now every game you make is 3D destruction and some gruff voice saying, "Welcome to hell, soldier." What happened?
I actually have another 3D game coming up that's a cake zombie game, but I'm afraid to make it since I'm running into all those bugs. There we go.
Okay, great. So, yeah, 3D is fun. I agree. Okay, so we're at 50, so 952, which means people are definitely playing your game. That means it's probably somewhere in the community playtest category, which is where we put brand new games and get a sense of how they're performing.
Past
So,
that. Sorry.
no, please go ahead.
So I published this about a week ago so I think the reason why it's lower is because when I published it, it was buggy. So when people were
Yep,
playing it, they dropped off. And then we fixed it recently. I don't know if it might still be broken. So the median time went up. It was around like the 40s or so and the
yeah,
800s last week and it went up to like almost 1,000. So it might be either in the feed or just on the web page. Because usually I
right.
notice when my games get to a minute to a minute and a half, they go on the feed and then they spike up drastically, like here and there with the views. But if they go
Mhm.
under a minute, they don't grow as fast.
That's correct. Yes, and that's partially because of how games are prioritized. So, I mentioned this last time, and this is counterintuitive, but it's important. The number of plays your game gets is not really that important because really we can give any game a ton of plays just by putting it on a certain place in the gallery. You rank a game in a certain category and it gets a ton of plays, right? The question is not can you get plays by being in the right place. The question is do you have a long enough play duration that we would put you in those categories in the first place? Because generally speaking, games are placed based on how long people play them. So if you've got like a really long playtime, that could wind up in the player's choice category. And then it'll get way more plays on top of that just because it's in player's choice. But the important thing was that it had that long playtime in the first place. So that's the reason we're trying to optimize that. We don't really care how many play counts you get. The only reason play counts matter is that if you have too few play counts, you can't necessarily determine how well your game is playing. You need enough plays to get a clear idea of what the average person thinks. So that's kind of how it works. So if you want to scroll
Delayed
down,
a little. Sorry. So what I
no, go
noticed
ahead.
was in the past, I have had a game. It only had 30-second playtime, right? It was a scrapbook like sticker Hello Kitty game, but that one got 30,000 views. So sometimes my games, when they don't do so well, still get, I guess, the people like playing it, and the median time doesn't really matter, and they still keep playing it, and it keeps growing.
Well, the other thing is we're still new. We're still a young company. We're making changes periodically to how this works. So sometimes things just don't follow the rules. They just weird patterns happen because maybe we're playing around with things. We're trying to recommend games differently. So there's always going to be stuff like that. But the general rule, and I was just talking to Gabe about this. Gabe is very close to all the data and these numbers. And if your playtime is less than something on the order of 40 to 45 seconds, it's probably going to be taken off of the feed altogether, which doesn't mean it's not on Astrocade. You can still share the link and people can play it. It just means it's not going to be popping up anywhere publicly. And the reason for that is we consider those numbers low enough that most people are not going to want to play them, regardless of what type of game it is, just going purely by that number, right? Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. The problem with Knox mentioned a recycle bin category. I interpret that as the place that underperforming games go. He may have meant something different. Knox, you can let us know. But okay, great, I nailed it. The here's the real problem with those low play counts, though. I'm sorry, low median playtime. If it's under 40 to 45 seconds, something like that, and I can't give you an exact number, but it's in that area. If it's below that, it's going to disappear from the feed, which means nobody's going to see it, and then it means you can't make it better because you can update the game, you can publish an improvement that makes this better or that better. It won't matter because nobody's playing it, nobody's seeing it. So you need to be, I'm going to guess, 50 plus seconds in order to stick around long enough to have a chance to improve yourself. But if you're below that number, you might as well start over. You have to publish a brand new game.
So what happens if like can I pull up a game for an example?
Yeah, please.
So let's say I made like a buggy game by accident and I caught it, but then it's a little bit too late now. So it's still growing, which is weird, but the playtime was like 20 seconds.
Oh,
See, it's
wow. Yeah,
23
that's very low.
seconds, but it's still growing on my profile, but I fixed the bug now. What happens in this case? Will it just disappear off the feed eventually?
Well, I mean, the simplest way to tell if you're still in the feed is if you're still seeing comments and you're still seeing the play count going up, even if it's going up slowly. If it seems to start to flatline, that usually means that you're kind of out of the running. So here you've definitely got comments. People are playing the game. It looks like it's spiked. You have the last 30 days. Can you go to the last 7 days?
Sure, this one just been posted like I think like today or yesterday or something.
Let's see. Oh, you published this yesterday.
Yeah, around yesterday, like I think like a day or two
Oh,
ago.
oh, then I can tell you. I think exactly what's going on is that we're not really done evaluating the game. Your game will get a few days to perform, right? So the first day that it's posted, it doesn't matter. You could get a 5 second playtime. We're not going to immediately get rid of it. We'll let it stabilize. That usually takes a few days. Then we make the decision of whether or not it stays or goes. So if you're just a couple days in, then that would explain why you have a relatively low. Yeah, 23 seconds is a very low median play count, but that you do technically still have a window right now if you want to try to improve it. But
Oh, okay.
you
So you recommend if we publish games and we go through our median count, and let's say the game looks very low, we have a few days to see if there's any bugs and to approve those games before, I guess, having it kicked off the whole platform, basically.
Yeah, and what Gabe would tell you is that most of the time, if your game has a really low median time, it's probably not worth trying to fix it because there's probably a lot of reasons for that. On the other hand, if you knew for a fact, like Erica, you've been dealing with these bugs lately, if you knew that it really wasn't your game, it was a bug issue, there's just some reason why your game is crashing for everybody, and you fix that, then who knows? Maybe that could totally, fix everything. Who knows, right? It could be anything. Um, so it's definitely worth it. I think as long as your game is being played by anybody, it's totally worth doing a couple passes to clean this up, make it load faster, whatever it might be. Just know that after a day or two, if those numbers stay really low, your time is probably better spent moving on to a new game. Also, if you really want to, you can make a copy of the game because you can go into your list of games in your profile. You can hit the duplicate option, make a new copy of your game, and then you could like really make serious improvements to it, and then just
Mm-hmm.
republish it. And that's kind of a pain because you have to wait a few days again for the QA team to review it. But it is a chance to try again. It's up to you to decide. Do you really believe you can make a big enough change to get like to double or triple the playtime? Because if not, it's probably not worth it. You probably just try a new game from scratch. But this is basically how to make these decisions. That's really the point of all this, is to give you guys a sense of what you should think and how you should interpret these numbers and when it's time to move on or when it's worth making the game better.
I think Toxic tried doing that with a SpongeBob game where he changed it up and made a survival edition to see, I guess, how well it did. And it got a few thousand views, but his original one seemed to do better, though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like you can generally make a new game I'm sorry, you can generally make your game better by improving, various aspects of it and hitting the update button. But at a certain point, you might also just want to make a totally different copy of the game. If you want to basically test two variations of the same game, which is kind of what Toxic did. He actually changed the gameplay of his SpongeBob game. So rather than change a game that's already successful, just duplicate it, make your changes, publish that one, and then let the two kind of compete with each other, see which one does better, right? And if it turns out that the new gameplay is way better than the old one, then maybe you can get rid of the old one, who cares? But if it turns out that the old one was the more popular one, you wouldn't want to ruin that, right? So you should also think about the difference between, am I just making a little improvement or a refinement, or am I actually changing the game altogether? And if it's a total change, but your game's already doing well, it's probably a good idea to duplicate that game and let that idea be tested elsewhere. Because we're all trying to get like a hit game. If you do have one, you don't want to wreck it by changing things after the fact.
Yeah, what I also noticed is where like with these games, let's say they have low median times, and let's say there's bugs. Sometimes when I have like Toxic, someone else remix it and fix the bugs, and I remix it, it works. But it's so weird how like these games are just so buggy sometimes.
Yeah, well, in 3D in particular, I think it's still a little bit tricky for the AI. By the way, I'm seeing some questions in the comments. So, Plankton Fun mentions A/B testing. This is actually a really
Mhm.
interesting point, and this is something we're going to be offering soon, and we're working on it now.
Ooh.
Like YouTube has A/B testing, right? So for things like your thumbnail, so you can make two different thumbnails for your video. You can show half of them to one group of people, half to the other, and you can see which one does better, right? We want to offer that for all sorts of stuff. We want to offer that potentially for thumbnails, for different game features. So, hopefully sometime soon, not only will you guys be able to make changes to your game and all that, but you can actually compare different changes and see which ones help versus which ones
Hmm.
hurt. So that's something I'm very excited about, and I think it'll be really cool to put that in your hands. But in the meantime, the thing that we all need to learn, myself included, is regardless of the tools, whether it's A/B testing or this or that, whatever, learning what it means to make a game better. That's the skill you're always going to need, regardless of what the tools do for you. So that's kind of what the focus is on today.
Question
Knox,
for you, Alex. Sorry.
sure.
In your eyes, when we're aiming for median times, what is the number that I guess is good, and what's the number that is bad? Like what should we aim for if we want to stay
So
relevant?
like I mentioned earlier, 40 to 45 seconds is kind of the cutoff where you can expect your game to be pulled down, right? So call that the low end. The very best games have a median playtime of usually a minute and a half or up, right? And some really good
Mm.
games can have them over 2 minutes, right? Now remember, median means that that's not like the average, and it's not even the peak. That there you can have a ton of players that are playing way longer than your median playtime, but you're also going to have a
Mhm.
lot of people playing lower, right? So median is kind of a healthy. Hey, Roby. We are talking about ways to improve game performance. So once you've published your game, trying to figure out how to get the highest play count and play session length from your players. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'd say keep it above 40 to 45 seconds. That's definitely
Mhm.
the danger. But anything over, I'd say a minute 20 and up, you're doing great, right? If you're over a
Mhm.
minute, like a minute 5, minute 10, you're doing okay. There's room for improvement, but you're not at risk of being taken down. But about a minute 20 is where we consider a really good game. And a minute 30 plus, that could be something along the lines of you might wind up in the player's choice category at that point. So
Mhm.
those are kind of the numbers to
Sorry.
have in mind.
It's like for
Uh,
these like they're 130 seconds and above, and I know like loading and stuff basically like factors it out. Sometimes when they keep growing, the playtime just drops. How come is that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just statistics. It could just be that with a small number of plays, there were a couple outliers, people who played for a really long time or a short time or whatever. And then as more and more people play, those numbers get drowned out. The other thing is we have players all over the world. So sometimes it's a different population of players finds your game and they may just have different opinions. So there's all sorts of reasons why it can change. But usually once you get to a big enough number of plays, it gets fairly stable. So anyway, to wrap up this conversation about your game, Erica, I'd say 52 seconds means you're definitely not at risk. At that number, you're not going to get taken down. And it
Mhm.
sounds like you probably have some issues with bugs that'll make that number go higher, hopefully. So maybe we'll try to get that wrapped up this week. I'd love to get these games working for you, no more than a couple more days from now. And then maybe we can, after that point, we can start evaluating the game purely based on how well it plays, because then there's no more bugs to worry about. Right now, there could be bugs that are changing that number, right? So we'll have to come back to that.
Okay, so
In the
basically, with all
meantime,
my games, if they all perform poorly, I guess see if there's any bugs, and then give it like a few days, and then see if or like a day or two, see if I can improve them by making things, I
Yeah.
guess, better, and then go from there.
Exactly. Yeah, and really the whole point of Astro Academy this season with the 7 lessons is all of those lessons are things that can potentially affect your playtime. So the most obvious one is download time. If the game takes too long to download, that's going to really be a problem. But that's not usually the biggest issue. You should know about it. And I've made a couple
Mhm.
games that are hilariously slow to download, and it cost me. So I'm living proof you can make that mistake. But that's one thing. Another one is really bad onboarding. If the game has confusing tutorials or no tutorials or the wall of text, that could be turning people off. So basically go down the list, that checklist that I shared, and I'll make sure everyone's got it if you don't have it. That checklist, by asking yourself all those questions, it's a really good idea to make sure that anything that where the answer is like no or wrong or I didn't do this, that's a place to look if your median playtime is too low. Sorry, Be Little, you're saying, how about a file of 469K that takes over 40 seconds? What file is that? Is that like it's a sound file? Okay. So is that background music? Okay, so Be Little is asking about background music because I'm talking a lot about download times. And he asked a good question of like, if you have, say, background audio, those sometimes are big files. How do you make that work with your download time? That's a perfect example of why lazy loading is so important. The beauty of background music, usually at least, is that you don't actually need it to play the game. Like it adds a lot of richness, but the game functions without it. So generally, you want the game to start before it attempts to download all the background audio, and then let that download in parallel while the game is playing. And then once it downloads, then the audio can start playing. But you shouldn't block the game from starting. And that way you can kind of have it both ways. You can have a game that loads fast, but you can still have your background music. You just have to accept the fact that it might be 10 seconds or 20 seconds even on a really slow connection before they start hearing the music. But that's the best you're going to do. I feel like that's the best of both worlds. By the way, I will share something. This is totally premature. I'm giving you guys really bad information by sharing this, but I'm just going to make a little point here. Let's see if this idea comes across. And yes, Nuvu, please feel free to share your game. We're going to do a little bit less playtesting today because we're talking about download stuff and game optimization, but I definitely want to get in some playtest time. So definitely share it. Okay, so I'm sharing my own screen. This is Lemon Squeeze Tycoon, minute 8. Okay. Now this is not bad, but it's again, I was hoping for higher numbers than this, right? And a minute 8, again, I'm not in danger. It's going to probably stay on the feed. It's fine, but it's not going to get huge play counts, right? And there could be a lot of reasons for that, right? Like if anyone that remembers seeing this game, let me see. Lemon Squeeze Tycoon. Okay, so there's a lot of things that could be making this game not play so well. I just realized I actually have to start my game over because it saves the background. Anyway, this game had kind of less than perfect onboarding, right? It didn't really have like a completely descriptive tutorial. The first few steps were kind of confusing. So the game that I shared yesterday, and Creative Guy was generous enough to playtest, is Lemon Squeeze Tycoon Deluxe, which makes some improvements, right? And so far, 30 seconds more in my median playtime. Now, here's the reason why I'm telling you guys this is premature, is if you look at this play count, 777, that's extremely low, right? And so as this goes up to say 5,000, 10,000 plays, for all I know, this number is going to plummet, right? Sadly, that could happen, right? I hope that doesn't happen, but obviously as this goes up, it could drop. But, just to make the point, it's like, here's the version with worse onboarding. Here's the version with better onboarding. And I mean, it's kind of cool that you can see a difference. So I'll keep you guys posted. If I have to like eat my words and it turns out in 3 days my median play count has dropped to 54 seconds, then I'll admit it. But for now, it's kind of cool to see that you can potentially make a difference. And also bear in mind, I didn't want to delete this because I made so many changes in the new game that I really wanted to compare them side by side, and that's why I made 2 different games instead of just improving the original game. Okay, so does anybody else want to share? We're going to get to the games soon, but if anyone else has a play count to share, I want to look at it, and we can look at your game, and we can brainstorm some ways to improve it.
So we have how many groups?
Is someone talking? Yeah, C-Spark, if you want to, we'd love to see yours. Wow, minute 10. C-Spark is killing it. And a 75K play count. Yeah. So first of all, we can. Sorry, do you mind scrolling back down again? So if you look at the 0 to 10 seconds, notice that almost nobody is playing it for less than 10 seconds. That's great. That tells you basically there's no risk of like an immediate problem with your game. It's downloading fine, nothing's crashing. Then the 10 to 30 seconds, that's also kind of a danger zone. But again, look at the 10 to 30 second range is very low, right? Every game's going to have some. You're not going to make those go flat, but you can see most people stick around for even longer than 30 seconds. And it looks like the peak is 1 to 2 minutes, which is a really good sign. I mean, 1 to 2 minutes playing a relatively casual game means that person likes your game. Within about 30 seconds, if you don't like something, I think we all generally stop playing. So I think that's a really good sign that this is a game that is connecting with people. So do you mind, C-Spark, can you click the play button on the thumbnail? Let's just take a look at the game real quick. So we've got a nice loading screen, simple enough. Hit the play. Look at that. So it loads fast. You hit the play button, and then you're in the game, right? So watching C-Spark play it, I see no big red flags. There's no like obvious problem that makes this game, hard to get into or something. Um, and between the looks and the music, I mean, it's just awesome. So it's a really great game that I think is deserving. It's pretty high playtime. Here's the question though. If I were you, C-Spark, this is where my mind would go, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do with this. I see no obvious problems with your game, and I personally thought it was a really good game the last time I played it. But what you might find is that people, even though they love it, they're done within about a minute and a half, maybe. Like the average person just doesn't have anything more they want to do with it, right? So if you wanted to get that number higher, and that's up to you, by the way, I think a minute 10 is great. So it's not like you need to improve this, but if you really felt like it, the way to think about it might be nothing is wrong with the first half of my game. Nothing is turning people away. But maybe in the second half of the game, there's not enough variety or not enough of extra features to keep people playing for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes, right? So that's when you might start thinking, do I need to add new features, new boosts, new gameplay modes? If you play through 3 levels, does the game change in some new way? And that's just a totally creative question. It's not like a strategic one where you have to like follow a checklist. That's just where you got to start thinking, what might people like, right? Okay, cool. So C-Spark says I have some ideas for that. So that's an example of where even if your game is successful, you can always try to make it more successful. It's up to you. That's a great example. Thanks for sharing, C-Spark. I'd love to do 1 or 2 more before we get into the play testing. Does anybody else have a game that they want? And yes, sorry, that's a great point, C-Spark. You've already got a great game. So you may be in a position where it might be smart to make a variation, like, Color Tunnel Deluxe or Extended Edition or Part 2 or whatever, and then go crazy thinking about new features. And in fact, if you test something in a separate version of your game and it's good, you might go back to the original and make that change too, but at least then you've kind of tested it first, right? So if anyone else wants to share their median time, we can do a little diagnosis on yours as well. But no pressure. If it's something people don't want to share, we can talk about it later.
I got you, big guy. I'm sharing my screen.
Thanks. Thanks, man. So which game is this?
This is the Hover Tanks Arena.
Hover Tanks Arena. Got it. Okay. Let's see. So you're 48 seconds. Can you play this game? Oh, this is the one you made that looks like Tanker Arena, right?
Yeah, ish. Sure.
Yep. Okay, so what sucks is I've played this game. I think it's really good. It's not immediately obvious to me why the play duration is kind of on the lower side. But one thing that jumps out at me is 10 to 30 seconds. You've got a lot of people playing less than 30 seconds, which is weird because. So do you mind hitting that? Can you play the game? Can we check it out?
Sure. Can you see my screen? I don't know why. Yeah, it's good.
Sorry, one sec.
Uh-oh. Now I'm gonna have to entertain the kids.
Sorry, I had loud sirens in the background.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So Hover Tanks Arena. Select your hover tank. Okay. I don't think I saw this last time. Did you add this? Is this new? The tank selection?
Yeah, it's new.
Got it. Okay. So, wow. Yeah. You know what? It's like, what drives me crazy is I'm trying to give you guys good advice. And it's like, don't do this, do that, don't do that. And then I look at this game like, this game looks pretty great. Like, it's not like, oh, yeah, you need to fix this or fix that. It's like, I don't know, man. Looks good to me. Honestly, I almost wonder if this game is too Like, if people want to play like these chilled out casual games, and this game is just too much energy. I have no idea, by the way. I'm just guessing. So
It
don't
could
go by
be.
what
I went really high octane, fast paced, and
you
I know
did.
this
But
platform.
it's
Yeah.
for what it is, it's great. Like, this is such a great example of that kind of energy. Like, it looks fast, it looks responsive. I'm not seeing anything that would turn me off. The only thing that might not work is if I just don't want this much energy. If I'm like trying to chill out and this is like giving me anxiety. The other thought that I had, I don't know if you had this for the whole time the game's been live. Personally, I think that starting screen with the three rotating tank options is really cool. But my first guess, because I'm so paranoid with this stuff, it's just my style, is I wonder if that should be like an upgrade thing that happens after the first 10 or 15 seconds rather than the first thing you see. Because certain people click that thumbnail and then they get this kind of complicated weapons or vehicle select screen. And maybe that's why certain people bail in the first 5 or 10 seconds because they're just like, I don't know. Then again,
You mean
your
like
0 to 10 second play session is not bad. So it doesn't necessarily tell me that's the problem, but
you
it's
mean
just a
like a
thought.
progressive tank unlock, basically. Maybe I can try.
Something like that. Exactly. Yeah. The other
Well,
question, though,
yeah.
this is actually a serious possibility. Is I'm looking at this game and it's playing great. Even with you streaming the video, it looks really smooth and really responsive. What I don't know I don't know, maybe you've tested it, but how does this perform on a, I don't know, 5, 7, 8-year-old Android or something?
Well, I'm the perfect candidate for that because that's how old my phone is, and it runs great.
Okay. That is actually, it's one of the benefits, everybody, of if it's not your daily phone, having one at hand that's like not brand new. It's a really useful thing to have because it's so easy to make a game that plays great, and then you try it on an older phone and it turns out it doesn't play great, and that will
Um,
destroy your play session length because a lot of our players are all over the world. They have new phones, they have old phones, they have iOS, they have Android, although mostly Android, actually. So it's important to keep in mind that not everybody playing Astrocade is using the same phone you are. But in Knox's case, it sounds like that's probably not the biggest explanation.
I'm just poor, brother. No, I'm kidding. I'm just cheap. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
an old phone. I think really the onboarding and potentially, as you say, there's too much choice at the beginning. I can try that. It's a good route.
Yeah, maybe though. But again, I think we'd see that in the numbers. I think it'd be more obvious if that screen were turning people off. Personally, I would probably get rid of it anyway. I just think as a design matter, I think that screen should pop up. As it is, it's fine. I just think it should pop up later. But I
Mm.
can't point to numbers to say objectively that's true. And so that's why it really is, kind of your call. But looking at this game, the other thing to consider, and this is why the first lesson of Astro Academy is all about thinking like a casual game designer, um, is casual game does not necessarily always just mean simple. Casual games are generally simple, but there's also kind of a vibe that we associate with casual games. And the best example, or the best hypothesis I can offer for why your game isn't performing better is that this isn't casual enough in terms of vibe, not in terms of execution, not in terms of quality. It could just be that this is so much energy that the average person that wants to play a match three is going to think this is cool, but then give up after 20 seconds because it's too much investment. I don't know.
That is very possible. It's a good theory. I can't really say I don't have any. This is why I think the hub with more information maybe would be useful for me later on, or
Yeah,
for
and by
everyone,
the way,
right?
we have a lot more coming out. The Creator Hub right now is very much version 0.1. So we're going to do a lot of improvements there because at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We all want to know everything we can learn about how our games are being played by the audience. So it's on the roadmap, and we're looking forward to putting it in your hands. But
Very
yeah, I
good.
mean, what's a bummer is your game is a great object lesson of how to make a good game. Like it looks like it plays well, it looks good, it's got this great energy to it. It could just be an audience mismatch, right? Which happens sometimes. But thanks for sharing,
Okay.
Knox. Appreciate it. Always great to
Thank
have you on
you.
the call. All right, so let's see. If anyone else wants to share, I'd love to do one more. If not, we can jump into some playtesting. By the way, Nuvu, I forgot. Have you been added to Astro Academy? If not, um, no, Robbie, never apologize. Please, if you guys have questions, always ask. So we're asking two things. If any, sorry, I was gonna say, I always interrupt myself. I was gonna say to Nuvu, if you are not part of Astro Academy, let me know. I can add you. You're welcome. Yeah, okay. I'll add you and I'll put you in the chat, and then you can join the Astro Academy channel. Okay, so yeah, we're sharing median playtime because median playtime generally yes, if it's been published, if it hasn't been published yet, you won't yet have a median playtime. So don't worry about that if not. But for anyone that's published your game, the median playtime for anyone just joining us basically tells you how long people are playing the game. And the ultimate goal beyond creating the game itself is getting that number as high as possible and trying to make your games engage players so they stick around longer. And that's kind of really all it's about. Beyond that, it's up to you to be creative and think through, game features as you envision them. But the beauty of the median playtime is it brings a little bit of objectivity into the question. So you can have your own opinion of what would be cool for your game, but the median playtime will tell you, do other people share that opinion? Do they think it's cool, or is it just you? Okay, so maybe we'll jump into some playtesting. If anyone else wants to share while we're playtesting, that's totally fine. Let me know, and we can jump back into the median playtime conversation. Nuva, you're saying this is your best game, but the median time is still 1 minute. Do you want to show us on your screen and we can look at the details? I can pull up your game to playtest it. Yeah, we'll do one more of these, then we'll get back into the queue. Hey, Storm Hunter. What's going on, man? Okay, so Nuvu's sharing. Let's see what we got here. Storm Hunter, you would be a great person to talk to about this because your games do pretty well. Storm Hunter, if you just showed up, we were talking about median playtime, which is one of the main metrics that you can see in your Creator Hub. And we're using it to evaluate. Oh, that's funny. Nuva, I don't know if it's on your end. For some reason, I can't seem to see your screen share. But we are looking at median playtimes, and if you wanted to share what your median playtime looks like for some of maybe your most recently published game, it might be an interesting thing for everyone else to see because your games are generally really good, and it'd be great to compare that with how the audiences are responding to them.
I don't want to interrupt. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Sorry, Nuvo, it looks like your something's not working on your end. Let's Sturmjäger, if you don't mind sharing your Creator Hub for whatever your most recently published game is. That's what we're looking at. You don't have to share if you don't feel like it, but it'd be great if you don't mind. And then we're going to compare that to some other games.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. What's considered a good time? I thought I had crappy times. What's considered a good time?
Well, how about this? This would be even more fun. Let's make this dramatic and theatrical. Why don't you share it, and then we'll tell you.
I don't think my times are very good, but yeah, sure. No, I don't mind. I don't know if I can. Oh, I can't though. I can take a screenshot and paste it. You guys want that? I can't stream it.
No, actually, sorry, that's a mistake. Then how come you can't share? You should be able to.
Well, I'm not an ambassador. If that helps. I don't know. It says I can't stream to this channel.
You know what? Okay, how about this? I'm going to reveal something, guys. I have a special extra feature that allows me to look at other people's Creator Hubs. So I can pull up Sternjägers on my end. Hey, what is your Discord? No, sorry, not Discord. What's your Astrocade username? You just want to put it in the chat. I'll copy it.
It's the same. It's the same as my my Discord.
Got it.
Yeah, you should be able to pull it up.
Alrighty.
Everybody, close your eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, no, dude, you got great medium playtime. No worries. So I'll get back to your game in just a minute, Nuvu, but I'm gonna share my own screen. All secrets will be revealed. Sorry, Storm Hunter, I'm airing your dirty laundry, but as you can see,
versus aliens.
No, I'm looking at Highway Havoc. This is an excellent median playtime. Minute 15 is very, very good. So yes, I am spying on all of you.
Click on the reckoning then.
Okay. Well, to be fair though, 7:15, that's a very, very low number. Whoa, look at that! Minute 46. Dude is killing it. All right, let's see Granny versus Aliens. 917. Uh-oh. All right, so this is the only one that's trouble. But these two are really good. This one, and this one's especially good because at 92,000 plays, this is a very stable number. This is not likely to change dramatically. Sorry, I keep repeating myself, but for people joining, this is really important. Here's the general range. 40 to 45 seconds and you're in trouble, and there's a good chance your game is going to be taken off the main feed, right? It doesn't mean it's not accessible. It just means we're not serving it up to players anymore because that number means it's too low. Most people don't play it. Anything that's over a minute 10, anything over a minute means your game is doing okay. Doing about a minute 10, it's doing pretty good. To a minute 20, minute 30 is where it's a very likely could wind up in player's choice, kind of the top of the heap, right? So a minute 15 means you're doing really well. You're like B plus A minus territory, right? Whereas this minute 46, this is like Hall of Fame times. The only reason you shouldn't get too excited yet is at 715 plays, this number is going to change a lot. Could go up, probably going to go down at least a little bit just because it's so high. As the number gets up to thousands and tens of thousands of plays, it'll stabilize. But a minute 46 is a very good early optimistic sign. So it's not a guarantee of anything, but you've probably done something right if you're already at a minute 46.
Well,
Cool.
that's cool. Thanks for explaining that because I had no idea.
Yeah, and thanks for letting me show all your secrets to everybody. They are thankfully very flattering secrets, so you got nothing to worry about.
No
Okay. And also, if you haven't played Storm Hunters games, check them out. Highway Havoc in particular is an excellent game. Really just good general game design practice. Also, Granny versus Aliens is a great game. So maybe we'll have a separate conversation about this. These numbers are so low that I wouldn't put too much faith in this play duration breakdown graph. But your 10 to 30 second range is not as low as I would like it to be. So maybe there's something there. Let's actually play this really quick and see if we can think through it. I feel like it looks great. If I'm just a brand new player, this looks like a very premium game to me. There's a title screen, and there's really no friction. Like, I'm not getting caught in long tutorials. The best I can think is maybe someone gets confused by that start thing, but that seems unlikely. So I feel like this game is overall doing most of the basics right. So if you want to get that number higher, we have to think through other aspects of why there could be a reason why certain people aren't sticking around. So maybe we can have a separate conversation about that. But just superficially, the game looks solid to me. So sometimes it takes a little bit of detective work and it takes trial and error. So it could also mean just pick something about the game. Maybe it's the title screen, maybe it's the first 10 seconds, and maybe either add a feature or change something and just see if it makes the numbers go up and down. And remember, I tell you this, guys, because I trust you, we only do QA on your first publishing pass. So if you've already published your game, so Granny versus Aliens, this game, I believe, is already gone through the QA process, which is what takes a few days. So if Storm Hunter wants to make some changes to it, those changes will happen immediately, right? So make a change, give it maybe one more day, and then look at the median play duration and see if it changed, right?
Hey, Alex, while we're on the topic, quick question. Does updating the game while it's in the review process screw up the algorithm?
That's a great question. I don't think it does. Cool, because it's not really an algorithm. It's we have a big team of people that are manually reviewing these games. So my guess is, in my experience, it's not really been an issue. I haven't heard a lot about it. I can't confirm that. I can try to get a better answer, but my guess is that generally speaking, no. The only time it might really mess things up is if you do something crazy, like completely retool your game or something. But if you're making little refinements or fixing bugs and typos, that's probably fine. By the way, B Little just posted a screenshot, minute 18 play duration, which is excellent. And of course, 317K, that's a great play count. So very, very cool. Good numbers. I'd say at a minute 18, I mean, if you really want to try to make it higher, you can go for it, but you can move on to a new game because you've kind of killed it with that game. That's already, I think, a job well done. And yes, Plankton Fun, I didn't mean to say that there isn't a median playtime. As long as anyone's playing the game, even if it's just you, there's always a median playtime. I guess my point is just, if it's not published, it doesn't really mean anything, because it's really just timing how long you play the game, but it's not telling you how long the average person plays it. Also, IQ Level Up has a really good point. Sometimes, if your median play time isn't where you want it to be, it may not be due to any of like the checklist things. Like it's not necessarily because your game mechanic is bad or because it takes too long to download or because the onboarding sucks. It could just be that the balance of the game, the difficulty, IQ is mentioning like reload times, just kind of the subjective elements of balancing any game, they just may not be balanced right? So if you're like, oh, like Granny versus Aliens, we're looking at 51 seconds, but it's 51 seconds for a really good game. Maybe it is something like, I got to tune the parameters better. Maybe the enemies are too fast. Maybe it takes too long to get a power up, that kind of thing, where it's not a technical mistake, it's just a design issue, right? So this, as always, this is why playtesting is so great. Even if your game's published, you just want to make that number go higher, find some random people, get them to play the game and watch them. And, is there something about it that could be more fun? Whatever. So at a certain point, that's all you can do. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for sharing. This has been really, really helpful. And we're going to keep talking about this because there's a lot to learn. But I'm really glad that we're getting into this. And by the way, IQ Level Up, what you just did is what I think everybody should do. Share your opinions of games, give people ideas. Because if you're Storm Hunter and you've been working on this game, he's been so close to the game that to him it all makes sense because it's his game, it's his baby. But if you play it with fresh eyes, you may immediately notice like, oh, the whatever it is, the recoil on the gun is crazy. I get knocked back too far. And then you're like, oh, you're right. I never thought about that, right? So we should all be in the habit of sharing our opinions with other people. It'll make us all better creators. Okie dokie. So I think we can wrap up our chat about playtimes for now. And I'm going to get back into playtesting. So I'm just going to run down from the top of the queue, and I'll try to get to everybody. I'm actually going to start just before 10:30. I'm going to play Infinity. Actually, no, Infinity had to go, right? But if we're recording it, I'll do a quick one. I'll do a quick one for Infinity's Cube Rush game. So I mentioned this last time. I love this giant, insane, oversized title screen text. Personally, I do worry that some people might think it's a bug or something. I think it's cool. This is just a weird, personal opinion question. Anyway, normal mode. Ah, yes, I remember this game now. I think the last time I played this game, I gave Infinity some feedback, which was that it felt like the game got a little too hard too fast. Like the density of the obstacles just really spiked. Whereas I think it feels smoother now. I think now I'm able to hang around longer before it goes from difficult to too difficult, which I really like. I'm noticing the color changes now, which I don't think was here last time. That's really cool. The other issue that I had was that when I played the game, it was often too easy for the obstacles that were in front of the cube to kind of cover up the cube. Like I would get lost behind the obstacles, and that also appears to be fixed. So I don't know. Basically, this does everything I kind of wanted the game to do. I really like this improvement. This is a nicely playing game. Fast, it's simple. I didn't need any sort of hand holding, no tutorial. I can just jump in and have fun. And I also think you can take more damage. I feel like when last time I played it, it was like one hit, you were dead. I could be wrong about that, but a good amount of damage. I feel like it wasn't too easy, but I also wasn't frustrated by it. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is really good. Nicely done, Infinity. C-Spark, what looks buggy? Just something like, it wasn't this game, was it? Although I'm not even playing right now. I'm grabbing the next game. So that's why I'm in Monvi mode. Okay, Nuvo, I feel like last time this is the game we didn't get to. Is that correct? Let's check it out. Tristan the Hellslayer. Already killing it in the title department, by the way. Tristan the Hellslayer. Who's not going to play that game? Oh, the huge title. Yes. C-Spark, you're probably right. I hate to recommend this to Infinity because I think it's so cool, just on a design level, but I think you're probably right that people will find that a bad sign. They'll think they're playing a buggy game, so it might be worth thinking about that. Okie dokie. This has got like a very cool first-person retro hack and slash kind of look. I love the sword slash animation, and I really love these skeleton characters. Let me restart it and do a proper playtest because I kind of got distracted by the chat. Okay, so what I love about this is I jump right into the game. I don't have to go through title screens. I'm not entering my character's name. I just start hacking and slashing. Let's see. So I love the simplicity and I love the look. I love the pixel art style. It suits us really well. I have a few issues with the central game mechanic. I love the idea of like first person retro, sword fighting. That's cool. The problem though is that when I'm playing this, and I would encourage you to share this with other people to get other feedback and see what other people say when you watch them play it. But when I play this, first of all, it's a little bit sluggish. Like I feel like not all of my clicks are really making this. Like I'm doing more clicks than you may see from the screen sharing because some of my clicks don't seem to be registering. So the sword doesn't always move when I want. I also feel like it kind of takes a while to be able to swing it again. Like I feel like I'm kind of being throttled. Like not all of my clicks register, which can be kind of frustrating when I feel like the skeletons are all just taking pot shots at me. The other issue is that it's not really clear what the right time to swing is because the 3D effect is kind of artificial. You're just kind of scaling them up and they're on this kind of gray textured background, but it's not really clear if they're close to me or not. So I'm actually having having a little bit of trouble knowing when I should swing my sword. I'm kind of getting it through trial and error, but because it's a little bit unresponsive, then it actually makes even the trial and error is kind of difficult. So anyway, here, let me wrap this up. I think the game is a really good idea and the look is awesome. I love this pixelated retro arcade look. I just feel like I need a better sense of when I'm swinging, like it should be clear what the right time to attack is, and I feel like the sword should be more responsive. If you made those two changes, I think this game would get a lot better immediately. Stormhunter has a really cool idea of like, you've got this kind of horizon here, right? You've got the edge of the ground and it looks like the sky behind it. Maybe that's where the skeletons should appear. They should appear on the horizon small and then walk down the screen as they get bigger. And that would definitely create more of a convincing 3D look. It's a really good idea. That's also an interesting idea. Make the cursor name icon. The only problem with that, and it's actually solvable, but that may not translate as well to mobile. But it could be that maybe it's a cursor that you just move that's always visible on mobile, and you move it by dragging or something. So yeah, I think there's some good feedback here, Nuvu, if you want to take a look at it. Sorry, Erica, you're saying here's. Oh, high quality can't join. I see. So unfortunately, high quality can't make it. It looks like, but Erica, is that for high quality's tennis bat city game? Hard to tell. Okay, well, we'll tell high quality. Oh yeah, sorry, Nuvu. If you're trying to talk, no one can hear you. I want to make sure you can get you can join the conversation. And Nuvu, if maybe it's kind of a pain, but if you have to chat, I'm happy to respond to you in the chat too. Well, high quality. We'll make sure high quality knows. Bring your game the next time you can attend, and we'll do a deep dive. Unless Michael High is high quality's alter ego. Yeah, Nuvu. Whenever you can join the chat, just feel free to type, or we'll come back to your game. But I think you've mostly got the feedback. We're happy to discuss it in more detail. But I think you've got a good look and a good start. Just consider the feedback on responsiveness for the weapon and the clarity of where the enemies are when they're getting closer to you. Okay, for the playtest, next up, we have got the latest version of Cake Blaster from Erica. Erica, you still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Quickly.
Oh, looks like you might have taken some of the advice from yesterday of now it's a frosting game. Let's find out. It is! This is very cool. So this is kind of the reverse of the power washing genre. This is power frosting, I guess.
He has a minute 18 playtime right now.
As it should. Who doesn't love putting frosting on cake? I think you've earned it. The only, the only thing I'm confused about is now do I shoot frosting at bugs and mice?
Well, there is the little critter like icons on top. It shows you for the mouse and everything.
Oh yeah, great, great, very cool. So now, but I would make it bigger. I didn't even see it at first. I mean, it's very obvious now that you pointed it out, but I can easily see myself missing that. Um, but no, but I love this idea. You took this feedback really, really well. So anyone that saw this yesterday knows that this is originally a power washing game where you would reveal a picture of a cake. But one idea we had was since you can see the character is shooting frosting from a frosting tube, it doesn't make as much sense to power wash with frosting. So what if we flipped it around? Instead of revealing the cake, you could build up a frosted version of a cake. Same exact game mechanic, but you're building the cake instead of revealing the cake. And Erica has done that, and it looks pretty good to me. You know what I noticed though is it seems like it took forever to. Wow, these visuals look great, by the way, Erica. You did a really good job with the before and after visuals. Oh, and look at that. Whoa, I don't even know how you did that. That effect is amazing. That's awesome. But here's my question. It looks like I'm done frosting, but the timer's still going for a while.
Yeah, I'm
What's
having
going on?
issues. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe we could debug it offline because that's the one thing I ran into.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like once I've got this thing fully frosted, I should immediately get credit, good job, and go on to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't do that for some reason. Like it's like I have that issue with it all the time. Do you know what I should put through for it?
Just send me the wishes you're sending offline and we can try to debug it. I'll hopefully have a little bit more time today or tomorrow. It may be tomorrow, but I'll definitely have some time this week to help you out with this. But what I will say you've done so far is you've done an amazing job of incorporating the idea from yesterday. This really does feel like I'm frosting the cake. Like the before and after images are perfectly lined up. And it's really fun to just spray all over the cake until the look and styling is correct. So very cool. I don't know if you need this green box. I feel like that kind of takes some of the magic away because the game looks good without that, but minor detail. Yeah, if we can figure out how to make the level end at the right time, I'd say you've got something really good here.
Thanks. Yeah, I was working on it with Toxic into them yesterday where we had to like regenerate the whole like cake layer and everything, get rid of the plates.
Yeah. No, it looks great. Really good job. And yeah, just send me whatever wishes you're doing to try to end the level and we'll try to debug that. And
I
then looks like
published it already, so I think it's okay right now. I published it, I think, yesterday, got approved.
yeah, no, it seems like it's doing great, but I definitely think we can improve it. And I mean, if you already have a high median play count or median play time, then we can only make it better. I mean, you might as well, right? It's cool. Thanks for sharing, Erica. All right, so this is Swarm of the Deep by CSpark. Always exciting when CSpark has a new game. Oh, you know, we've played this before, so I'm curious how this has evolved. So it looks like this is kind of an IO style game, moving around, collecting stuff, and I guess I'm avoiding bigger things until or no, maybe it's more of a Survivor.io style game where I'm just going to keep attacking the enemies with auto fire as I move around. So what I like about this game, it's playing really well. It started quickly. Wow, these effects look great. Unsurprising coming from CSpark. This is a very high quality game. So far, everything is looking pretty good to me. It's got a really good look. It's got really consistent visuals. The central game mechanic is fine. Very responsive, smooth. I mean, as always, I'm on a MacBook, so that's not surprising. But at least for me, it plays well. And I feel like I got into the game very, very quickly. There was not a lot of upfront friction, which is usually what you want. The only thing I'm noticing, this is an opinion that's worth contrasting with other opinions, but I feel like it's something I told Erica in her Arcane Blast, is that I feel like I'm leveling up very quickly. And it's great to level up and it's great to get these bonuses. That's always fun. But I feel like I don't play for that long before I get interrupted. So if you're watching the game, I think you can notice that I feel like it's just maybe, I don't know, 10, barely 15 seconds before the next kind of wave ends, maybe 20 seconds. And I feel like I'd like to get into the zone a little more, get kind of a flow state going of just slaughtering a bunch of enemies before the screen interrupts me. Because even though it's a good thing, it's leveling up and getting a bonus, it's not necessarily a good thing if it kills your momentum. So just personally, I feel like the game plays so well that I don't want to be pulled out of it so frequently. So it's a very minor tuning suggestion, but it might be good to space out these level up screens. CSpark, feel free to share your thoughts if you're in the chat. Okay, so the next one I'm going to play, and C-Spark, please feel free to keep sharing. I'll get back to your thoughts in a second. I just want to quickly make sure we don't forget Robbie's game. This is Scratch to Riches, which is based on a very cool mechanic of lotto scratch tickets, which you don't see that often. So you can see here you've got kind of that silver powdery texture, and then you can reveal what's beneath it by dragging around, and you get this very satisfying pop when you reveal something. And then the idea is to decide, do you want to spend your money or basically save your money? So I'm going to learn nothing. I am just going to mostly spend, but only save a small amount. I'm just going to keep buying watches. Something I'm noticing, by the way, this is a really tiny note, Robbie, but I feel like if I'm playing this right, if I'm holding the cursor down and I move out of the area, when I come back, I'm no longer like this is all one drag. And so it kind of slows you down because if you happen to go too far outside of the box, you have to tap again, which kind of messes up the smoothness of this motion. It's a very minor detail, but I think it actually has an effect. Like if you just look at this, like I can very quickly get messed up and I have to start this over. And so what should be a very simple kind of effortless gesture becomes a little bit complicated by that. So if it's possible to ask the AI to basically say, if it's all one tap and drag, don't stop it if I move outside of the area.
Okay, I'll change that way because it kind of really bothered me that it wasn't feeling as smooth as a normal scratch game. So I just was like, okay, I have bigger problems right now. I was gonna get back to it because you'll see I went deeper. There's a lot happening. I actually even thought about pulling it out of casual games.
You may just want to put that on a list. You don't have to drop everything and fix it now, but it sounds like you have the same idea. So as long as you're keeping track of the things you want to clean, that's all that matters. So why don't you tell us about your latest? We haven't seen your game in a few days. So other than my nitpicking about the scratching mechanic, what's going on?
Oh, don't do the new path. Try the other one. So start the balance light. Is this fifth? So my game is currently 2 levels. I worked very hard on level 2. So it's basically checks how you behave, and then it creates a different path based on how you behaved.
Okay. Oh,
so now
wow.
you're entering into part 2.
Okay, so scratch one event to reveal your fate. High stakes. Okay, bonus interest. So is this more like it's kind of giving me actual advice as opposed to just giving me options? Like visually this looks very different, but talk me through what is the difference in like the concept as a game player?
With that one, it was just like a simple scratch, get money. With this one, it's kind of like you need to make more decisions. Are you going to save? Are you going to spend? Are you going to get into debt?
Wow. And look, it's even stuff like, do I join a gym or, like,
there's a
I see.
well-being element now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get super jacked in digital form by going to a gym. I still refuse to do it in real life, but that's a separate conversation. Okay. Oh, so now it's like, wow. So it's almost like Monopoly or something, where not only am I getting prizes from the scratch tickets, but it's actually like affecting my life.
Yes.
It's like a board game. This is cool. And this is not published yet, though, right?
Sorry, mute button was far. No, it's not published because I've been struggling with the logic, trying to get the date right. Like you see now, those messages I have to tweak now because they were showing for too short of a period. So there's a lot of logic behind the game that was challenging. So that's why I was like, I don't know if it should be part of the casual academy thing anymore because it's just so.
I mean, so I will say this: it's not. Managing an entire virtual life is maybe not the most casual thing, but I wouldn't necessarily exclude it. If you have another idea for a game you want to make that's a little bit more straightforward, then you're welcome to do that. But you're also welcome to try to just keep working on this as well. Because as you come into, different challenges or different things you want to fix, that's just good stuff for us to discuss. So it's really up to you.
Okay, cool.
Pika, are you talking about Robbie's game? Pika Piece is too much to read, I think. I'm curious if that's this game or a different game. Yes. So Robbie, what do you think about this? That the fact that I think the concept of your game is really cool, but like if I just take this screen, for instance, it's a lot to read. So I wonder if it's possible without actually changing the game itself, to maybe simplify the way it's presented to the player, to have a little bit more in the way of visuals, maybe simplify some of the text. Like, have you thought about that? Has that been on your mind at all? Or for instance, have any of your playtest sessions, which I hope you've been doing, given you any indication that people want more or less to read, or more visuals or less visuals? Do you know what I mean?
So I did tweak around some of the visuals, so you can see with the well-being and the luxury items, I did try to make it a bit more visual. There was a point where the investments were a little bit more visual. But this one, literally, I've been building even up until like right before the session. I have been building the logic of it. So I was just trying to make sure that the logic of of how the debt and finances and everything worked was
I see.
sorted out. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, one way to think about it is that you don't have to change the game itself, but either before you publish it or after the publish it, depending on how people respond, you may decide, like, I'm going to keep the game operating the same way, but I might rethink the way it appears just visually, right? So that's all.
Yeah.
You can always think of this as two separate things. There's all the game logic over here, and then there's the visual experience of the game over here, and it's possible to change one without changing the other. So even if you decide that maybe this seems too complicated to people, like you said, maybe it's not super casual, you can still make it look and feel more casual, even if the game behaves the same way, right? We can talk about that as well. But Pika takes everything I say and makes it much more straightforward. Bigger assets, less reading. Kind of hard to argue with that. So, very well said, Pika. Anyway, but I appreciate how much work is going into this. So I'd say keep it up and just keep sharing, and we'll try to give you feedback as we go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to play. I don't think high quality is here, so I'm going to wait till high quality is here next time to talk through the game, Tennis Bat City, and talk through the median playtime. So I'm going to jump ahead to Gravity Core. So this is a game. Oh, wait a second. Is this the? Yeah, this is like the old version, right? Because this is we lost all the texturing and everything we saw yesterday. IQ bit version. Wanted to show before and after. Got it. Okay, so this is the before version of the game. Is that correct? IQ level up. Got it. Okay. So for anyone that hasn't seen the progression, this is where it all started. IQ Level Up has a really, really good, really, really shiny and detailed looking kind of 3D obstacle dodging game. And, you know, honestly, I actually like this look too. I think they're both great looks. This is kind of got that tanker arena vector retro style. But then the new version has this really cool kind of cosmic backdrop and these shiny textured objects and a lot more effects and everything. They both look great in my opinion. But there's also changes in gameplay. IQ Level Up, why don't you share the latest so we can show before and after side by side? Actually, how about this? Knox, would you mind doing a live playtest? This would be amazing if you're up for it. If you could share your screen and just play the game. Because of this, do the latest one. Do the one that IQ Level Up just shared. This could be... Pika is the master of peer pressure.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Oh, this would be amazing. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. Stop. All right, everyone. We got a guest playtester. By the way, look at the insane visual leap. IQ Level Up has put so much effort into the look and feel of this game. And of course, Knox is just trying to like contradict me at every turn. Just jumps into all the onboarding settings and
avoid the middle. Okay. Wait. I'm trying to click the orb. I'm clicking the orb right now.
This is what we talked about yesterday. Oh yeah, blame the player. Great move, IQ level up.
All right, hold on.
This is what you get for going into settings first. It'll teach you.
I swear it works on my machine.
Okay, maybe it's a theme. So let's find out. That's actually a good point. It could be the settings thing messed it up. Okay, now move to collect.
Tap
Okay,
the
tap.
collectible. That's what I'm doing. I
See,
swear,
but
if you can
is
see
the
my mouse, I'm clicking it right now.
yeah? No, we can see your mouse. Huh. The
Uh-oh.
perils of. All right, how about this? How about this? Let's do dueling playtests. So I'm going to put mine side by side. If you wouldn't mind, just keep yours up for just a second longer.
Yeah.
Knox, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I have a different experience. I'm going to try. Okay, everyone, I am now playing. Let's see how this goes. Whoops. Oh man, I hit the settings button. We're all Knox now. Okay. Tap to any highlighted zone to move. This seems to work. Cool. Okay, I'm playing. Move to collect the power up. Navigate around to reach it. Yep. I appear to. Oh, wait, no, I got it. But,
Where'd you
click
click?
the I button 3 times. Okay, so it seems to have kind of worked for me. Although it still took a few clicks, I feel like it wasn't super clear. So let's go back to yours, Knox.
There's nothing interesting happening on my screen right now except desperation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Pika is right. I think IQ Level Up has put in secret code that is designed just to troll Knox individually. It's
Well,
pretty
hopefully.
diabolical.
Control F5.
Oh, don't.
All right.
That's what unleashes the virus. You're walking right into his trap.
I got crypto scammed.
You're now a zombie crypto bot farm.
All right.
Well, I
Can
think
you
we've all
put
learned.
the collectible like at the bottom or on the top for me? No, I'm on a desktop.
Be little is like, you got an old Android phone. Maybe your only computer's a Chromebook.
No. No, I got a pretty good PC. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to stop sharing. There's nothing
Yeah,
interesting
no, it's
happening.
fine. I think that was instructive. That's how testing goes sometimes. Be little asking all the most cutting questions. No, be a little relax. Knox confided in me. He's long since upgraded to Windows 98. He's in good shape. Okay, well, guys, this has been instructive. Sorry to end on a note of complete devastation. Wait, is Pika sharing? What do you got? What is Pika sharing for us? Yeah, Pika is showing that this really is clearly a conspiracy against Knox. It's the only explanation that fits the data.
I really wanted to play this. Oh.
Well, of course you can't. We always want what we can't have. This game is the forbidden fruit of your world. I mean, look how much fun Pika is having. Aren't you jealous?
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be thinking about this game.
Oh man. Well, this is one strategy that Knox is pioneering, which is to get player demand up. Just make it clear that randomly people don't get to play, and just put that message out there. You're gonna have people beating your door down to get in. It looks amazing though. Like other than this weird issue with some people not getting to play it right, it looks phenomenal. I love the way these visuals have improved.
Psychological damage.
All right, guys, I got to wrap it up here. Great games as usual. Here's what we're going to do tomorrow, especially for you high quality if you get this message. Let's continue looking at median playtimes. I think we can start doing things to get those numbers up for some of you if you want to. But some of you already have great numbers. You shouldn't worry too much about it. But let's keep cranking away and see if we can get ourselves up to the Player's Choice category. All right, thanks everyone. See you tomorrow.